Jon rides into this event on a white horse. The white horse has an eye patch. I'm actually rather proud of Jon Jones. This was awesome. So Jon is taking this shot at Aspinall. It would seem as though he wants to fight Aspinall. The reason that is so poetically beautiful is Jon is working towards getting a fight with Aspinall, the very guy who they've been trying to get him to fight all along. I thought the direction that we were going was Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira. And then I saw Jon Jones ride a white horse into an event with an eye patch. It would be an interesting question to ask Tom. Hey Tom, would you rather fight Ciryl Gane in a rematch, or would you rather fight Jon Jones, who appears to be ready and wanting that fight?
The rivalry between Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones has officially reached its breaking point. After weeks of staying silent, Tom has finally had enough. Enough of the mockery, the jokes, and the non-stop disrespect. What began as an unfortunate no contest has now exploded into one of the ugliest feuds in recent UFC history. Behind the scenes, things are even more serious. Tom's father has revealed that his son's vision is still blurry, and he's been in and out of treatment ever since that fateful...
It was really bad how it looks. And he said, you can't train your eyeball to be stronger. It is what it is. There's protection here and here, but he obviously got no protection because the fingers were straight in. The fight should have been stopped. He couldn't see. It was a foul. He couldn't see. Then you can't fight. You know, if he'd have got knocked out with a head kick next, then it would have been worse. I don't know. And then he said, sometimes when your eyes here like that, it can become displaced and stay there. And they did a few tests on that, and they said it doesn't seem like that. And his vision on the eye that's the best eye, his eye wasn't following properly, so the muscles weren't working strong enough to go this way. This one just wasn't working that good at all. So we've got to have additional tests further this week, and Moyes is sorting the tests out for us, and he's got to have a CT scan.
A year and 3 months, 15 months total. Here's Tom Aspinall that has fought them all, that was begging to fight them all, that wanted to fight Jon Jones, that would have fought Francis Ngannou, that would have fought all of them. Here's Tom Aspinall being called a quitter. Here's Tom Aspinall having his heart questioned, having his integrity questioned. We talked about going into this fight, how obviously after everything that transpired over the past year, it would have been an absolute nightmare if he would have lost, right? The pressure, the Jones talk, all that stuff. Now, this wasn't a loss, but it's the next worst thing, because now his heart has been called into question. His integrity has been called into question. He's being called a coward, a quitter. Why? Because he got poked in the eyes. Why? Because he refused to fight blind. In some fakakta world that we live in, the guy who had a foul inflicted on him is the one getting the heat. Not the one who ended the fight, intentional or not. It's the guy who couldn't continue because he didn't show enough heart, because he was hit with an illegal foul multiple times and refused to continue. Couldn't do it. He's a quitter. He's a coward. He's a duck. Whatever you want to say. Now, I know a lot of this comes from people who, had money on the fight or are Gane fans. I get it. People are emotional. They go online. I'm not trying to put any more stock into any of this. But a lot of this could have been calmed down. A lot of this could have been quieted, could have been subdued if perhaps, I don't know, the face of the company would have gone to the press conference and said, look, that was a great fight. That was a great round. We're going to rebook it right away. But at the end of the day, you can't poke your opponent in the eye multiple times. At the end of the day, you can't do this. You can't do that. You want to block someone at range, close your fists. At the end of the day, Tom Aspinall is a fucking gangster who did everything that we've asked of him. He will live to fight another day, and we stand by him.
Recovery has been slow and painful, not just physically, but mentally too. Yet that didn't stop Jon Jones from turning it all into a joke. At a live event for his new Dirty Boxing promotion, Jones rode into the arena on horseback wearing an eye patch, openly mocking Aspinall's injury in front of a packed crowd. He laughed, taunted, and played it up for the cameras, making a spectacle out of someone else's suffering. And when the event was over, Jones doubled down. Speaking to reporters, he said bluntly that he doesn't care about fighting Tom Aspinall anymore, dismissing the British star like an afterthought.
Can't wait to see you compete the White House. Can't wait to see it.
I know. I really hope it happens. Dana, bro, please, Please, I'm training. I feel great. I'm healthy. And I would be so honored to represent our country and do what I do best.
Coming into this fight between the two of them, Cyril was the underdog and Tom the most popular. With the few things we've seen into this fight, I feel like Cyril was doing pretty well. Do you feel the same? And do you feel that he's earned respect so that people would care even more when you make this fight again and the odds would be more equivalent?
Yes. Yes, I agree. I think that I said earlier, because of the Jon Jones fight, I think everybody was sleeping on Cyril Gane and sort of wrote him off. And he's right behind me. He's coming in next, so you guys can ask him how he felt. But I feel like, I'm sure in his camp, he was training like an animal for this fight. And it's unfortunate that it ended the way that it did. And yes, I think that there probably will be a lot more interest in the rematch after they saw, he had Tom bloodied up. And, Tom didn't want to continue in the fight. So the rematch is very interesting.
Tom didn't want to continue in the fight. I mean, could you imagine if you're Tom Aspinall listening to that? Could you imagine? I mean, we know that no one from the UFC was with him at the hospital. We saw that on his video blog. Could you imagine how this guy must be feeling on this Monday? Everyone calling him into question, his heart into question, because he got poked in the eye multiple times. One of them knuckle deep, and his promoter is saying Tom didn't want to continue. Not Tom was fouled with an illegal strike, multiple illegal strikes. Let me ask you a question. If that happened in some alternate universe to AJ, to Anthony Joshua, what do you think Eddie Hearn is saying?
Does Dana White hate Tom Aspinall? Because in the post-match press conference, he was going at his heavyweight champion like he absolutely did not like him.
I mean, he had Tom bloodied up, and Tom didn't want to continue in the fight.
And a key word there is didn't. He didn't say Tom Aspinall couldn't continue, insinuating that he's a quitter.
I don't know if it's because Andy Aspinall's saying Tom wants to go to boxing and he'd love a big payday in boxing, but that's just Andy being a manager and a dad negotiating.
I'm going to be honest, I'll give Dana the benefit of the doubt. He could have easily just misspoke. And the fact that if you do watch the YouTube that Aspinall put out, Dana White's in the locker room before wishing him all luck. I'm sure he's on good terms with Tom Aspinall and his father, because Dana White, let's be honest, if he doesn't have Tom Aspinall, he doesn't have a heavyweight division. If you saw the other heavyweight fights that were on this UFC 321 card, absolute arse.
Jones made it clear. He's not interested in redemption or respect. He only wants a super fight with Alex Pereira at the upcoming White House event next year. But the stunt backfired instantly. The MMA community was outraged. Fans called it low, classless, and beyond disrespectful. For years, people have said Jon Jones gets special treatment from the UFC. But this time, he may have gone too far. Mocking a fighter who's still recovering from a serious eye injury crossed a line that even his biggest supporters couldn't defend. According to sources close to Tom Aspinall, the heavyweight is furious behind the scenes. He's stayed silent in public, but those close to him say this latest act has lit a fire inside him, and that when he returns, he plans to settle this once and for all inside the octagon.
But I don't know who I'm mad at. Tom did not do anything wrong. Tom was poked in the eye. As a matter of fact, he was poked in both eyes. Now, I don't believe Cyril did that on purpose. So, I also can't, or am not mad at Cyril. But I am mad. I'm looking for somebody to blame. But I don't quite know who to blame. Now, before we get to that, okay, there was a pretty interesting fight going on. The story going into this fight is Tom has the power to just go knock him out. We're not saying Tom's a better kickboxer. We get that Cyril did that for many years of his life. We get that Cyril had over 30 professional kickboxing bouts. But Tom is a little younger, a little bigger, shown to have a little bit better power if you just want to look at results, and has the ability to knock him out. However, if Tom tests that and doesn't knock him out, he'll just take him down and beat him up. I mean, this was the belief going in, guys. Tom was a 3.5 to 1 favorite. Tom told everybody that was willing to listen, I shouldn't be a 3.5 to 1 favorite. I don't overly like Cyril Gane, but I recognize how dangerous Cyril Gane is as an opponent, particularly with my style. Tom Cannon said, he said, look, all the problems that I give, he has the same problems. I move well on my feet for a heavyweight. I'm strong on my feet for a heavyweight. I'm not afraid to step in and trade for a heavyweight. He does all of those same things. There was one noticeable exception, which is Cyril defensively was better on his feet. Surreal does have the ability to roll from some of that experience he had. And I just bring that to you because that was on display. We had 2 minutes and 33 seconds. But it was on display. I mean, these guys went out and they got to know one another. Tom went for a takedown. He never even attempted another takedown. What does that mean and why? Do we have enough evidence to come to the conclusion that Tom couldn't take him down, or at least that Tom believed he couldn't take him down? It's a guess.
Were you just calling him out as you felt like you wanted to get that shot, or were you calling him out because you were able to continue from the eye poke?
Yeah, it's like that. It's for the hang to be a champion, and the hang quick because the pocket the eye too, and the third too because the hang is the training partner, and I do it with hang like a knock him out in the first round. Why is it happening that me and Tom Aspinall fight? Because he say Tom Aspinall, this is the one that does the best training partner. Hang can have it. What happened? Tom Aspinall fighting with Waldo Cortez.
It was a significant eye poke. It wasn't like a little scratch.
Yeah.
It was, they went in. They were proper eye pokes, and Tom clearly was in a lot of pain. There's people saying online, well, he was saying multiple times, I can't see. If he wanted to continue, he shouldn't be saying that. The reality is, if he can't see.
Tell the truth.
If you can't see, you're allowed to say you can't see. People might point to me and say, well, you fought with one eye. Yeah, that was a secret because I shouldn't have been fighting. You know, Tom is the champion of the world. He doesn't want to go out there when his vision is impaired or vision is massively affected and potentially lose a fight that was shaping up to be a difficult fight. Cyril Gane was on point tonight. He was looking good. We saw the damage on Tom's face. This was not an easy fight by any stretch of the imagination. He didn't want to continue with his vision damaged or not being able to see, so I don't blame him. The crowd were upset. I get that. They were frustrated. They've flown in from other countries. They've spent a lot of money. They've bought tickets, and the fight ends like that. I don't think the frustration was on Tom. I think the crowd was just annoyed at the situation.
Tom Aspinall may be bruised, but he's far from broken. His silence isn't weakness, it's focus. While Jon Jones turns his reputation into a circus act, Tom continues to earn respect the hard way. If he decides to leave the UFC, it won't be because he gave up. It'll be because he's outgrown the system. And if he stays, the world will be watching for that one moment when he finally gets a chance to face Jones, not for a belt, but for redemption. Because at the end of it all, legacies aren't built on showmanship or mind games. They're built on how you carry yourself when no one's watching. Tom Aspinall represents that, a fighter with class in a sport that too often forgets what that means.